Dr. Isaac. Welcome back to Physiology Diaries. Today I'm going to talk about some of the common or routine practices that we can incorporate into our daily routines, which will, in the long run, help ensure that we have optimal health and also give us the vitality that we need to pursue any other dreams or objectives that we might have set in this new year, 2025. Number one, wearing helmets. As we go about using motorcycles, using border borders, moving from place to place, we forget that accidents are commonplace. So I would like to encourage us to prioritize actively ensuring that we use helmets in order to protect ourselves from any brain damage or trauma that could happen and cause irreversible damage to a vital organ like the brain. Number two, let's talk about taking care of our eyes. We need to ensure that we reduce the strain that we exert on our eyes with long exposure to screens, either at work or even as we use our phones. So ensure that you take breaks from screen time to give your eyes the rest that they need. But also ensure that we actually get outdoor time, because staying indoors for longer hours is actually a risk factor for short-sightedness or myopia. Number three, let's talk about our oral cavity. We need to ensure that we floss regularly. Many of us are familiar with brushing at least 2 times a day, but flossing actually helps take out food particles that remain hidden between the teeth. It could actually attract a lot of organisms that cause decay and any other complications. But also let's talk about what we eat, what goes into our mouths. And here I'm talking about nutrition. We need to be mindful what we eat, the frequency of the meals, but also certain things that we have to take in moderation. For example, alcohol, also avoiding things like smoking, but also eating healthy food and reducing the snacking and processed foods, a lot of the things that you've already had. The point is, make conscious effort to be mindful or to look out for what you eat or what goes into your mouth. Let's talk about our spines as a part of the body, or the backbone. Now, this is something that is neglected by so many people, and yet the demographics have changed. A lot of work that is done is white collar jobs, which involves a lot of sitting, and so we need to be mindful of our posturing, because in the long run people end up getting issues like lower back pain or even sciatica. So be mindful of your posturing when you sit or when you go about doing any other activities. But also take breaks where you move about from your working desk. So that will be important for ensuring that your spine is healthy. But also let's talk a little bit about our feet. So it's important to be mindful of the shoes that we wear, putting on comfortable footwear, but also ensuring that we take breaks where we move our feet a little. Those small exercises, because in our feet we actually have what we call the peripheral pump, which consists of muscles that help propel blood from our feet back to our hearts. So doing mobility exercises from your working desk comes in handy. So these are some of the practices that we could possibly incorporate. And now the last one that I'm going to talk about is the brain, our minds, because increasingly mental health is an issue. It's a point of concern, especially for the young people, but even the older ones. So what are some of the things that we can do to gradually nourish our minds to have optimal mental health? Most importantly here is our input, what goes into our minds, because what we feed our minds becomes the raw material with which we think, with which we construct the words that we speak, and which eventually impacts our actions. So we need to consciously be mindful of what we watch, of what we read, because that is what becomes, as I say, the raw material for thought processes. But also practicing mindfulness, being present, getting some time off social media, and just having some alone time to yourself is important in self-discovery, in listening to yourself. And then the last that I can talk about is journaling. So this year you can purpose to keep a journal where you write down your thought processes. This practice helps you to listen to yourself more. It helps us to, obtain clarity in some of the things that we want to pursue, but also to evaluate ourselves. So with some of those, we can ensure that we move to a position of optimal mental health. So there is more that we can talk about, but for now, I think that will suffice. Happy New Year. Thank you. Like, subscribe.